What is good, YouTube? It's Demotic here. Thank you for returning. Thank you for watching. Today, I gonna be tackling these two questions. Can I exercise with DOMS? How do I stay motivated? Those are the two questions we'll be tackling today. Once again, Demotic bodybuilder, almost 20 years, just sharing my views or sharing my experiences. This is still the most Google question series, just giving my answers or my input in Google's or Google. So the first question, can I exercise with DOMS? DOMX, it's delay onset muscle soreness, but that is the fancy word. It's basically just being sore from training. So can you train if your muscles are sore? It's not recommended, or I will not recommend it from my experience. Soreness, it's when you pushed your muscles, and when you push your muscle they tear or you do damage to your muscle. And now when they sore, it's when now your muscle is recovering from the soreness, meaning now the muscle is rebuilding. When the muscle rebuilds, it's when it's getting strong and getting bigger. So it's not recommended you train when that is happening or that is during that period. That's why, most, not really most, but the training split, it's one muscle group every 5-7 days. So you can let the muscle rest and let the muscle grow. That is the reason why it's recommended, especially, for me as a bodybuilder or someone trying to build muscle. For your muscle to grow, you need to give them rest. Most likely, for other, athletes, endurance runners and all these other ones, perhaps for them training while the muscle is sore, it's not as detrimental to their progress as it is if you're trying to build muscle. So can you train or can you exercise while your muscles are sore? My answer is no, because you're trying to build a muscle, and when your muscle is sore, it's when your muscle is recovering from the tearing or the stress that you put it through while you were training. And then now when it's recovering, that's when the growth takes place. So you don't wanna interfere with that growth process. It's like a plant trying to, shoot up, or trying to, once you've planted the seed, now it's trying to grow, but now you've put concrete over it. So that plant will never, grow and get sunshine to grow even further. So now when you train while the muscles are sore, when you hit one muscle like a bicep for 3 days in a row, you will not get the full benefit of those training, because the recovery stage, you would have hampered the recovery stage by training again. So answer is no, don't do it. The next question, how do you stay motivated? This is what ChatGPT said. You can pause the video and read it for yourself. But basically, the idea from ChatGPT is that you need to get closer to the source of your motivation. If you're motivated by whatever, you need to stay close to the source. There's this meme that was I've seen before. I know this is the character. It's called Dexter, from the early 90s, late 2000s cartoon. He had a picture of Arnold, as motivation. So I'm sure every day, or the idea is that every day you must just sort of tap into your motivation. Personally, motivation, how do you say motivated? I guess motivation, it's similar to any other things that you need, or any other things that you cannot stay motivated without feeding or without doing something to, have you motivated. So if, for example, me personally, I like watching those motivational videos. Um, this is one of my favorite channels, and this one, but this is sort of on the surface motivation. This can't do anything if you're not really up to it. So basically, with motivation, you need to find something that motivates you and then try and stick to it. And those days where motivation is low, you need to just show up. I think that's where now discipline must kick in. As motivation, if whatever source or whatever thing that motivates you, those days that is not working, you still need to show up. So you still need to find a way. I think that's where discipline. And I think one of the videos I did a couple of, I think, weeks ago or sometime, it's basically, what do you do in those days where you don't feel like going to the gym? I'll use the gym because that is, where, there's this idea of motivation and all of that. For me, or for this video, it applies to. So those days where you don't feel like hitting the gym, what do? My advice, you just need to show up. If you can gather the strength to leave your house, or gather the strength to go from your normal job to the gym, once you're there by the door, you've won. It's highly unlikely, that you want to go to the gym, you are lacking motivation, you're lacking drive, but you were able to get to the door, and by the door you turn and go home. It's highly unlikely to do that. So that is my take. Motivation, find the source. Those days where the source is not working, discipline must kick in. You must just know what you're doing it for. Show up, get there by the door. Thank you for watching. Any ideas, any suggestions, anything, please drop them down below.